Hello! So I'm just gonna go over some basics, some things to know if you're just beginning to crochet. Um, Things like chaining and slip knot and magic circle. Uh, so to do a slip knot, you just cross over the yarn and then take the working yarn and push it through. And then you just pull both of these, and that's your slip knot. And it's called that because it slips around. I don't know, some people have some fancy ways of creating one. I just find to do it like that is the best. And then some people hold the needle like this or like this. Some people wrap the working yarn around their fingers for tension. I just hold it within my hand like this. Everybody's different on how to hold it, but this is what I found works for me. And this allows me to move my hand around. And I'm kind of fidgety. I tend to move my hand a lot just to grab it where I need it. And so with making a chain, it's just scoops and pulling through. And the direction of the hook is your most important skill. You just you will move that around depending on how, where you are within the loops. So again, scoop and pull through, scoop and pull through, scoop and pull through, scoop and pull through. Now when you look at a chain, on the front it just looks like a V. See that? But actually on the other side you'll see that there is a back loop. So there's really three back here. So you could go through this hole when you're going through. You could go through that hole. You could also go under it. Let's see if I can get so you can go through the top of that. There's a loop that runs this way along the chain. So you can go above it or below it. You see that? Above it or below it. Or you can go through the loop that runs this way. So those are three different loops that you can go into. Sometimes they will say in the pattern front loop of the chain, that would be this one, or back loop of the chain, which is this one. They could also say the back post of the chain, which is that one. So when I do hair strands, that is exactly what I do. I go through the back loop So in patterns, they will always say like chain 25 and start in the second loop from the hook. This loop doesn't count at all. It's not from the hook, it's in the it's on the hook. So this is the first loop. This is the first loop. This is the second loop. So I see some people thinking that this loop that it's on the it's not counted at all. So first loop, second loop. So when they say second loop, that's the one you go through. When you turn it around and do the back post, it's this one. It's the very first of the back post because it's locked in. That's the reason you don't go into this loop, because it's not locked in. You see, if you go into it, you're just going to get rid of the loop you're already on. So to do a strand, you would go into this back loop, do the scoop, that's the yarn over, and by the way, yarn under would be the other way, but so yarn over, that just makes this a little bit flatter to use that back post. So it pulls the chain, and now you're working on the side of it. Whereas if you just go into the chain directly, so again, not the first loop, but the second one, when you just go into that loop directly, it's not quite as wide. You see, and that works for hair strands. So chaining is really important to make long projects. Sometimes you will, like with shoes, you will circle around the chain. So again, starting in the second loop, you will go to the end. Usually it's just single crochet, single crochet, and then when you get to the end stitch, you will usually do one on this side, one on the end, and then one on the other side. They call that a three, well, I call it 3SC in one, 3 single crochet in one. Sometimes people will say a 3 single crochet increase in the pattern. I've seen it written that way. And then you will just continue on. The stitches are really loose so that you can see them, but then you will just continue on onto the other side. You see? So again, single crochet is just going in to the stitch, either like I said, top, bottom, or back post. You go in, and then you immediately scoop. That's yarn over because the yarn is on top of the hook. You pull it through the first loop, scoop again, yarn over, pull through the 2 loops. That is a single crochet. When you do any of the taller stitches, you yarn over before going in. So yarn over, go in, and then another scoop, yarn over. Now you have 3 on the hook, yarn over again, and pull through. So that's a half double crochet. So it's yarn over 1, insert the hook, yarn over again, pull up, yarn over 1 more time, and pull through. So single crochet is, again, insert the hook, yarn over, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through. Half double crochet, yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Now double crochet, which is just 1 half stitch taller from the half double, is the same start. So yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over again. So this looks like a half double crochet, right? Same thing. And it's the same start. So then yarn over, but instead of pulling through all 3 loops, you pull through 2. Yarn over 1 more time and pull through those 2 loops. See how it's just getting a little bit taller? So single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet. And now treble crochet, which is just a little taller than the double, is yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over again, yarn over 2 times, insert the hook, yarn over, pull up 4 loops. So do you see a pattern here? It's so you've got 2, 3, 3, but between half double and double, you're now yarning over 1 more time. You're only pulling through 2 loops. And so same with double crochet. So you yarn over, you pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. See this angle? This is showing you the levels. So single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet, and treble crochet. And they are very important in shaping. You can see that if I had made my chain just a little bit longer, I could go the opposite direction and do double crochet after the treble, and then half double, and then single again, and I would have a triangle. So now with magic circle, I face the tail end, the cut end, towards me. I wrap my first finger, and then I cross over, and I like to hold it however you'd like. Then I go hook down, insert, too tight. So you want these to be kind of loose enough that you can go in and out of them. Okay. So insert under the first one, and then because the hook is facing down, you pull and twist. Now you have the yarn locked in, right? And then you go and grab that yarn you're holding behind and pull through that loop you created. Take the yarn off your finger, but you have to make sure to hold it. Now, if any of this gets spun out, you might have a harder time getting it back. So you just want to kind of hold it, and it takes time getting used to that, where to hold it and all of that. But I typically just hold the yarn in a couple places, and then once it's off, I hold it here. So now this is just a slip stitch, essentially. That can be moved in and out. It can get, bigger or smaller. So it's a slip stitch. You are going to work your knots, your crochet, around this circle. So you will crochet around this circle. But to do that, you have to go into it. So you go into the circle and pull the yarn up. So this is, remember, single crochet. We worked on this. Is 2 on the hook, and then yarn over and pull through. So that's, remember, single crochet. Then half double crochet is a yarn over first, then into the circle, yarn over again. Remember, 3 on the hook, yarn over again, and pull through all 3. That is half double crochet. Oops. Sorry. So half double crochet. Now double crochet, like we did on the chain, yarn over, insert your hook. So you treat this circle just like it was a stitch, an open stitch to work in. So you yarn over, you go into the stitch, you yarn over again, you pull up, there's your 3 again, but because this is double crochet, you're going to yarn over and pull through only 2 loops. So now you have 2 on the hook again, and you yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. Yarn over, insert your hook. This is treble crochet is 2, insert your hook. So yarn over, so now you have 4, you pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that same half triangle that we created on the chain, we've now created on the magic ring, magic circle, slip knot, slip stitch, whatever you want to call it. This is how you start in a round with no hole in the center. So you could just start on a total flat hole. I don't know how else to explain it, but you can start. So a lot of times, you could do a chain and connect the ends and then work it around that way, but you have a hole in the center. This way you don't have any hole. So it's good for hats and amigurumi. So now I wasn't able to show this on the chain, but you can go back the other direction. So we did a treble. Now we could go double crochet. So that's the yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, So that's double, and then now half double, pull through all three, and then single, so no initial yarn over, and then just, and then when you're finished with however many stitches you're making into this magic circle, whatever kind of stitches you're making into this magic circle, you would pull. So I like to hold this loop so it doesn't go anywhere, and also pull the circle closed. Now, depending on the kind of yarn you're using, you might not want to pull this too tight initially, because, so this is that first slip knot that you made to lock it in. This is your first stitch, and you can know the difference because this one is facing this way, and the first stitch is a V. All your stitches will be a V. And just like on a chain, you have the front loop, and you have the back loop, and technically you even have the back post. It's just harder to see. But so generally in patterns you will go through those two loops. See, you can still see the hook through it. That's two loops. You see? So to make a flat piece, to start off, you always have to increase in every stitch. So if your magic circle has 6, you do 6 increases. If it has 8, you do 8 increases. And an increase is literally 2 stitches in one, unless they say otherwise. If they say, like I said, the 3 increase 3 stitches in one, 4 stitches in one, whatever it is. So you go into the stitch, 2 loops, you yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through those 2 loops. So again, single crochet. Then you go back into that same loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. So that's 2 in 1, and you can see that your V, 1, 2 V's. Now at this time you should mark your very first stitch. See how I've gone through, same place the hook would have gone through, I go through. So now in the second stitch of this magic circle, I go in, again, both loops, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Same hole, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. So now you can actually see 1 stitch, 2 stitch, 3 stitch, 4 stitch. Through both loops, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, 2 loops, single crochet, 2 loops, one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I know I've gone through 3 increases. So single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase. all single crochet increases. And see, that makes a flat disc, right? Flat piece. You will continue to increase around, not in every stitch. Now you will start as you get as the disc grows, you will do more single crochet in between each increase. That way it doesn't buckle. So if you do too many increases in a row, it will wave. You'll create a wave. If you want it to be completely flat, the pattern is always the initial increases in every stitch is always the first round, and then single crochet increase, 2 single crochet increase, 3 single crochet increase. You will do that until your disc is as big as you'd like it to be. And then once you start just doing single crochet or half double crochet or double crochet, once you're just doing 1 per stitch around for all the stitches, that will start to create the bowl effect. You will create a side wall. It will start to go. So now the other thing is, and this is so you take see how you can see you're in this stitch and this is the next stitch. So marker has to come out. Now to do front loops only, you would go just in the front loop and do your same stitching. Front loops only allows later for you to work in the back loops. It exposes those loops for later. If you do the back loops only now, so single crochet into the back loop, it exposes the front loop so that you can work those later. Or it also pulls your work down. So that's one way to create a ledge. So back loop, back loop, back loop, and you wouldn't do these back loops over and over again. It creates a weird effect. Now I don't know, maybe in a blanket, and if that's what you were going for, but in amigurumi it is just a tool that you would use. So back loops only, all the way around. See, now you can really see these front loops, they're exposed. See? It's doing all the front loops. So when you create that ledge, the disc that you had started with is now like the bottom of a bowl or cup. You see? Because now you have an edge, a sidewall. But to keep that sidewall, you now have to go into both loops. See again, the both loops. So 1, 2, both loops. Now, once you've left the chain, left the magic circle, and are working just within the doll, you might choose to do a little tighter stitch, which is, so same start, and so yarn over. Now instead of yarn over, see the yarn is literally over the hook, you can just grab the yarn like this, and that's called yarn under. And it does make the stitch a different shape. Looking at it from straight on, you will still have a V along the stitch line, but looking directly at the stitches from the side view, it will change from a Y to an X. And so same, you go in, yarn over, and then yarn under. So it's literally just describing where the yarn is in relation to the hook. So yarn under is just pulling it straight through. And even if you don't use the yarn under over the whole work, I suggest you use it when you're decreasing, and like if you know that you're going to do several rows of decreases, I would use it for that, because decreases can sometimes create little gaps, and you'll get rid of most of that from doing that. Some people decrease, invisible decrease. So I'm going to go over a decrease. So a decrease would be into one stitch, yarn over, pull up 2 loops, and then go into the next stitch, yarn over, and pull up a loop. So it's still a single crochet. It hasn't changed to a double or anything. You have more than one loop because you are into more than one stitch. Then you yarn over and pull through all 3. So it just gathers. So you're gathering 2 stitches into 1. So into 1 stitch, grab, into the next stitch, grab, yarn under, and pull through all 3. See? Now, an invisible decrease would be, instead of going through both loops, like we always do, unless told otherwise, you can go through just the front loops when you do your, so you go through the front loop, sorry, no, I'm splitting the yarn here. So go through the front loop, yarn over, pull through. So same as before, just in 1 loop. Then go into the next stitch, front loop only, yarn over, pull through. Now I'm splitting the yarn, I don't know why. So now you have your typical into 2 stitches, and then so you can yarn over, you can yarn under. I do find it to be a little bit more difficult to yarn under with invisible decreases. I don't know that you need to do both. They both kind of had the same effect, but you know, whatever your preference there. So we have gone over chaining, magic circle, slip stitch, slip knot, the different main stitches, so single crochet, half double crochet, treble crochet, and I'm going to go over how to color change in the magic circle. Well, let's go over color change normally. So let's see, 6 in the magic circle. Okay, so let's say you want your magic circle center to be white or cream, whatever color this is. So then, but then in your very next stitch, you want it to be blue, let's say. So you will pull up like you're going to do a regular single crochet with the cream, but instead of pulling cream into the stitch, you will pull the blue. And see, the blue is hidden within the last stitch, but it starts in the next stitch. Do you see that? So it's hidden within the last stitch, but it's ready to go for the next stitch. See that? And so you can increase again, because you're in a magic circle, so you always have to increase as many as you went in originally. Okay, again, so now we're getting towards the end. So, because it's an increase, you do the first stitch with the with that color, and then so to do your switch, same thing. You pull up 2 loops, and you do your color change in the middle of that that stitch. So see how the green is hidden within the last stitch, but it's ready to go again for the next stitch. So single crochet increase, because now we're in the 3rd row. 3rd row is no longer an increase in each one, it is a single crochet increase. So single crochet increase, single crochet increase. And it's really important to know when to switch like that mid single crochet or mid stitch, because if you're doing color blocking, you don't want to see both, right? You don't want to see both in the stitch. You want to see very clear, distinct lines when the color change, when the new color is in there. Let me see if I can. So there you are with that. And then if you're gonna do and I don't like to cut the yarn unless you know you're absolutely done with that color. And I do like to weave in my yarn, but that's, I think, more intermediate amigurumi or crochet. So, but beginner, I consider this all beginner. So let's say you're doing, I don't know, maybe this isn't beginner, but let's say you're doing, just start over so you can see it. Let's say you're going to color change inside the magic circle. Right, so you're starting with your first stitch is the one that's on the hook. And again, you're switching colors mid single crochet. So you pull it through, and now the one that's on the hook is the one that's going to bend down and become, oops, you can even see that. It will bend down and become the V-line, the stitch on the V-line. So you start same thing, single crochet. Nope, I've gotten twisted. Well, it's a perfect example of what can happen if you don't hold a magic circle correctly. So again, that's just to lock in the stitch. See how the colors are changing with each additional yarn that I add. It is trickier, and maybe that's, wouldn't be considered beginner, but I just want you to see that color changing is not, it's not difficult. It's just more difficult this way, but typically it's just a matter of pulling the yarn in at the right time. See how the stitches have gone from cream to blue to green to white again to cream again. So yeah, you would just anyway, but after you've done all of these, if you're doing color changes in the magic circle, you always pull the original yarn. Of course, all the other yarns are loose, so I'm going to yank on those too. But yeah, so you have the V line is a different color. Each stitch is a different color. And let's see what else. I don't know. I think that's pretty much it for beginner. If you have any questions or you want me to do something specifically on camera, just let me know. I'm pretty much just pattern making all day long, writing patterns. And I guess I can go over some of those sometime, maybe in another video. So I hope this is helpful for those just starting. Most of it is direction of your hook, how you're holding the hook, how you're holding the yarn, and getting used to how hard to, or how soft to pull on your thread. So tension, hook, how you hold it. You always want to have a marker handy. Always mark your work. Keep that right next to you. And I don't know, little things like taking notes. If you're interrupted and you're in a count, just write down that number. Keeping a tally on how many rows you've done. You can get a stitch or row marker. I pulled mine out, but so you can get one of these. It really helps out to count, either your rows or your stitches. And it just, slips onto your finger like that. And you can get them Amazon for, I don't know, $5 for a pack. So, stitch marker, bow counter. I tend to use cotton yarn, and it's, I think it's a 4. But all that is kind of funny to me because I use a 2, 3, or 4, but it really depends on how many plies, how many actual strands are woven together within the strand. You see, so this is 4. I use one that's technically, it says it's a 2, a sport 2, and it has 6 ply, so it actually ends up about the same weight. It's kind of funny, but I use all of them. Use this with all of them. My 225 hook, always 225. So you could use 2.75, but I wouldn't go any bigger than that with these smaller yarns. So anyway, these are all just little things. Keeping your scissors handy. So yeah, if you have any questions or comments, you have anything you want me to do, just let me know in the comment section, okay? Have a good day. Thank you. Bye.